What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today I want to talk to you about Opendoor. I want to go over some of the data points, break it down what's moving it, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So Opendoor is up 2.1%, 672 the low, 732 the high. So new 52-week high was hit today, and a lot of volume. So far within the first about 2.5 hours of the trading day, 240 million shares being traded, 299 is the average. As far as today, there hasn't been any catalysts, no news, no SEC filings or anything along those lines. Just a lot of big accounts really pushing Opendoor, which based on what Eric mentioned is just, I guess, building a stronger and stronger cult-like mentality. And so you have Anthony, who has 1.7 million shares, just saying that the army is preparing for battle. And so a lot of big accounts are kind of saying the exact same thing. So it's kind of an interesting scenario, right? So over the last 1 month, it going up 278%, despite the lack of catalysts, is very much deserving of a round of applause. One thing that is causing, I guess, just some volatility today is just the fact that there is a lot of algorithmic trading occurring today. And that is because of just a lot of the data from last week, as well as the data that just came out this morning. So I'll share that with you in a second. But looking at this column right here, you can kind of see just algos are in like massive full force. Even looking at the market position, the reason why it bounced off of that 730 is because there is a lot more walls being created. So a lot more institutions clearly wanting to sell. And honestly, I'm not too worried. I think it's Opendoor's due for some level of consolidation, and that's normal. That's good for the stock. No stock just goes straight vertical high without some hesitation. But I think if you do go through some consolidation, it builds stronger support levels, no different than what happened in that kind of $4 to $5 range right over here. So at the end of the day, you have some people freaking out, but I myself, I'm not too worried. So let me know your general thoughts on that in the comments below. Aside from all that fun stuff though, shorts are running out of somewhat room. So when I was preparing for this video, there was exactly 0 shares available to be shorted. At the time, right now, shorts are returning 484,000 shares. So that did free up some room. So right now there's about 551,000 shares available. So it goes to show shorts are very active today. Nothing significant though. They're not really returning millions upon millions of shares. There still is 151.02 million shares overall are being shorted. That works out to be 22.96% of the free float. Cost to borrow average a little bit higher than Friday, so 7.78, and that's an annual rate, not a daily rate. So something as well just to keep in mind. But generally, looking at this kind of pinkish line, it is breaking the trend, so it is starting to go down. So last time this did happen back in August, beginning of August, this is where Opendoor kind of went up very aggressively. So something as well to keep in mind. But I think, in my opinion at least, I've always believed that no stock just generally goes up without fundamental news. And I get it. A lot of big accounts, if you're having multi-million accounts saying, hey, you know what, Opendoor is going to be $82 and the next big thing, like it will move higher because of that and just more of that cult-like mentality. But I think, like I've stated, Opendoor really does need to get a good catalyst out. And honestly, the best thing is a CEO. You can't really guide a ship without having a CEO kind of moving it in whatever direction that they see fit. So let me know your general thoughts on that. It might be a little bit unpopular opinion, but looking at the options, 51 million in calls, 12 million in puts, 49% of all the options being done are bullish in nature. So despite a lot of individuals on social media saying Opendoor is going to go down from here, just short it, blah, 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 you don't really see that kind of occurring via the options. So you're still seeing a certain level of optimism. So like I said, 49% being bullish is always good. Net premiums being 3.7 million. From a bull standpoint, you see a consensus for it to be roughly around that $7.50 to $8 range by the end of this Friday. You, of course, always have these outliers, so there's a consensus for it to be roughly around that $10 range. If Opendoor does get to, let's say 8, most likely market makers are going to open up new chains, so higher than that $13 in my opinion, and that'll be a pretty big sentiment booster as well. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub pretty much 550 to 6. So they're anticipating more of a further breakdown, but still, given everything, there is a little bit more upside anticipated. Right now with it at 683, it is trading right below this R1. So 691 is going to be that key pivot. Best case scenario, it'll close above that today, really continuing the good momentum. But like I said, a little bit of consolidation, it won't really hurt all that much. 587 will be that next strong support. And from what we can tell, that is very strong support. So most likely, at least in my opinion, it will close above this R1. But even if not, even if it does consolidate, I don't think it's the end of the world, right? Because there is a very big catalyst coming up in roughly a week and a half. And that is the Fed's cutting, most likely, 25 basis points. Best case scenario for that is 50 basis points, but that might be a little bit far-fetched. We did get some data this morning. So at 10 a.m., consumer inflation expectations came in at 3.2, forecast was 3.1. So not necessarily the best. A lot of big data for the rest of the week as well that could really change the dynamic of what the market feels is coming for a rate cut, but that would only be kind of moving the 50 basis point mentality. So long story short, Opendoor does have a pretty good catalyst coming up, and that is the 25 basis point cut. And again, that's not counting them announcing a new CEO or something else. So let me know your general thoughts on Opendoor. Are you buying? Are you selling? Where do you realistically see things going? As I've mentioned, I do feel that it will push to roughly around the $8 range, on which it should bounce off of that and consolidate a little bit. And in general, at that stage, it all depends on what the company puts out for catalysts. And if they have some pretty good stuff, then yeah, it could easily move up significantly higher, whether it hits $82, $100, $10, 20, anything is a possibility, all dependent on if you believe it's a squeeze play. And it does look like right now it is consolidating a little bit more, and you're seeing more and more walls of selling. So again, you potentially might see a little bit of a further pullback to around that 640. Anything is possible. So let me know your thoughts on Opendoor. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon if you're looking for some solid buy signals on stocks, options, crypto, many of which have been absolutely on point. Worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.